I have my phone set up so if I click on the right button on my phone, it'll put this on the TV in the living room. I think my wife would be very happy with me if I did that.
Funny.
I have my phone set up so if I click on the right button on my phone, it'll put this on the TV in the living room. I think my wife would be very happy with me if I did that. There's a bit of a delay, I think.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
Okay, so I believe it's on now. Can y'all see it?
Yeah, I saw it over there.
Say that it is.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and get started then. Okay, welcome to the Lone Oak City Council meeting held on Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. I have 7 o'clock. I can hear that.
Yeah, I think we all can. There's a bit of a delay, I think.
This is going to be interesting.
Buddy, somebody hit mute on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on now. Can y'all see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and
Doug, I believe that's yours, man.
yeah, I'm trying to get in there.
Okay, welcome to the Lone Oak City Council meeting
Oh wow.
held on Tuesday, May 12th, 2020.
How about that?
There you go.
There you go. That's better.
Okay. Okay, in accordance with section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code, on March 16th, 2020, Governor Abbott has suspended some provisions of the Open Meetings Act in response to the COVID-19 emergency. We're gonna have to start over. I gotta start the recorder. Hold on. We're gonna have to start this whole thing over.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we should be good now. Okay. Welcome to the Lone Oak City Council meeting held on Tuesday, May 12th, 2020 at 7 p.m. In accordance with section 418.016 of the Texas Government Code, on March 16th, 2020, Governor Abbott has suspended some provisions of the Open Meetings Act in response to the COVID-19 emergency. Lone Oak's City Council meetings will not be open to on-site visitors. Governor Abbott suspended certain open meeting statutes to facilitate social distancing in the public meeting. The governor has carved out certain provisions within the suspended statutes to maintain government transparency and continued government operations while reducing face-to-face contact. In the interim, city council meetings will be available through youtube.com from your computer or smartphone. To join the meeting, go to www.youtube.com and enter City of Lone Oak, Texas open meeting. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. First, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of the United States of America
Okay.
and to the republic
for which it
which
stands,
stands one nation under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
Liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
Okay, roll call and certification of a quorum. Bo,
Here.
Sandra,
Here.
Christine,
Here.
Justin, and Wes.
Here.
And we have Corey is Public Works that's going to be here for a few minutes. till we're done with him. Okay.
Did you invite,
I did.
Tony?
He hasn't come in yet.
okay, all right.
Okay, consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. And we have A, approval of minutes for regular council meeting on April 14th, 2020.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the regular council meeting of October the 14th, 2020.
A second.
Okay, Christine made the motion, Wes second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay,
Aye.
unanimous. Okay, number 5, individual consideration. We have 3 items. A, consider an act regarding financial statements for April 2020. B, consider an act regarding April 2020 invoices for payment. And C, consider an act regarding Economic Development Corporation invoices for payment.
Kathy, what is J&R Auto on the Public Works?
I do not know.
There's a couple of bills there for J&R Auto. They're not very big. I was just wondering where that is.
I think it's an Emory.
Okay. Okay.
I think, isn't that the auto place in Emory? Auto store,
Yes,
auto supply store in Emory.
Auto supply? Okay.
not an auto supply. No, it's a mechanic shop.
Okay.
Is that the one across from the school?
No, it's towards Sonic, past Sonic
Okay. All right.
on the
Oh,
right hand
okay.
side.
Okay. All right. I make a motion, we accept the financial statements for April 2020.
I'll second it.
Okay, so Wes made a motion to, for this financial statements for April 2020, and was that Sandra?
Yes.
Sandra made a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes.
I make a motion, we accept the invoices for payment for April 2020.
I'll second it.
Okay, Wes made the motion, Christine seconded. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that the April 2020 invoices is passed for payment.
For the economic development invoices, we don't have any to present, but I wanted to make y'all aware of a kind of a funny thing. So I guess in January, we paid for the Greenville Chamber of Commerce. And the check got sent back. Well, apparently they hired somebody. The lady who was doing all that resigned. And so they hired her replacement. And apparently she was overwhelmed at the job and mistakes were made. Apparently the economic development. So the city, when we did this, the city was going to have a membership, and the Economic Development Board was going to have, or Economic Development Corporation was going to have a membership. So that was $250, $125 a piece. So Kathy sent them a check for the city, and that one was good. But apparently this young lady decided that the EDC didn't need to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce, so she didn't enter us in. We need to look to see what happened to the original check, because I'm sure it got cashed. But when Keith went to look for it last week, he found out that they had never entered us in the thing. So they sent a check out Monday to them to get us caught back up, I guess. So that'll be on the next bunch of bills, and hopefully the signed invoice will be there too. I think they're waiting on the lights. So we really don't have any invoices to pay, I don't think.
Okay.
I can look real quick, hang on.
Okay, so no invoices for this month?
I don't think so.
Okay. All
Let
right,
me look
Kathy,
before we get too far down the road.
all right, Kathy, did we get any public comments?
No.
What's
I
it
still
do?
don't see Tony.
Mm-mm.
That was item 7. So item 7 is presentation from Good Deeds and J&S Construction. Has anybody got a contact for him, maybe? See if he's, Wes, do you happen to have a contact for him?
Oh, the only thing I got is what you gave me.
Okay. All right, well, then
So,
we'll move on.
Email address and everything is what you already have.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on to department and committee reports. We didn't get anything from fire department, so Public Works. Corey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You got you
Okay.
got the floor.
All right, the shortest one that we've ever had, but due to 20 hours a week and ain't much you can get done. However, we got a couple of things that stands out. We got the pump with the float for the bathroom at the shop. Out, run overheated, pretty much done. The rain finally slowed down, so we was able to get some roads repaired. There's still a lot to do, but here it is raining again, so that's unfortunate. Just things at the Civic Center, you know, the roof had a leak. We put a huge tarp on it, changed out some ceiling tiles, some lights, did some flooring, you know, just minor stuff. Not really much else other than, you know, we did do some flushing in town, quite a bit of it, to make sure our levels were properly maintained and everything looks great, 100% better than even last year. So I don't know if it's cash that's helping us on that or if it's us flushing enough to keep it right. So, but that is good news. Other than that, I mean, I don't have a whole lot. We do have the mayor sent out an email to y'all about having so many disconnects. Did off waters, getting we could. However, after doing some research, we can, and it's at our discretion. Of course, I understand the times are hard, but we've also got some major bills coming up, and so maybe later on have another meeting, something if we need to. I mean, I hate to turn out wall that somebody lost their job. You know, my goal. It's hurting us.
I'm getting about every other word.
Yeah.
Have we reached out to those people to see if that's exactly what it is, or?
No,
Not yet.
we just did the bills yesterday. We don't
Okay.
send the letters out until, I believe, well, we're gonna send them out tomorrow. So we don't do a follow-up until it's disconnect time. And we don't do that on everybody. I mean, we don't have to. We send the notices out. They know what
Well,
it closes.
Yeah, I just, maybe because this is a special time, instead of wait till the last minute,
Yeah.
just,
That's the plan, is that we're gonna ask these people, if the ones that call in, if they can't pay it, if it has to do with being laid off or a COVID, coronavirus in the family, then we're gonna work with them. But they gotta tell us.
How many of those are repeat offenders?
Well,
And when I say repeat
my-
offender, I don't mean this month and last month. I mean
long
for the
history.
last, yeah,
What is their history?
yeah.
Right now we're at like 43 disconnects,
Mhm.
or notices for disconnect if they don't pay, but that's normal. About 46. Then it gets down to between 3 and 6 a month that we are having to call again or having to cut them off because they don't
Okay, all right.
answer the phone.
Yeah, I have a feeling with this many right now, it's probably just people just waiting a little bit longer to pay them.
Yeah, and usually by the end of the week, but before the 18th, most of them will resolve, but we still have those few.
Well, I think, I think that's I'd leave that up to you, Doug.
Yeah, and if they call, maybe if they have a letter from an employer, I mean, I don't know, I don't want people taking advantage of the situation, but if it's needed, we can push
Well,
it
I mean,
out or.
Even with
That'll
the-
work. That's exactly what I'm
Mhm.
wanting to do, Sandra.
Well,
So
even with the
we're gonna work with
governor's,
them.
even with the governor's, or the council's declaration on this, they're not forgiving any bills. They're just,
Giving them time.
maybe forgiving the late notices, but there are the late fees, and that's just for community waters systems or co-ops. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
co-op.
And we're also being, we've been kind of lax on the late fees. We've been pretty relaxed on that too.
Mhm. Well, if I need to come up, if we want to make phone calls to those, I don't mind helping call and asking if there's a hardship, or, we could at least maybe log or see, and if I need help with that, I can, since we're home.
All right, appreciate it. Kathy, I mean, not Kathy, but Susie has a pretty good plan. She's been keeping Corey and I informed about it, and she's willing to work with them. So we just
Yeah.
wanted to let y'all aware of this and what we got.
Sure.
July 1st, we got to pay the water tower, which is $54,540, and the jet machine, $15,021.18. Those are yearly payments,
Mhm.
and we're short right now.
Why have we come up short?
Well, we had one of the reasons we had a real bad water leak that went unnoticed for a little bit, and we had to pay that. Corey, what's the other things?
I think everything's kind of on track. We're under budget, actually, as far as expenditures. I just think that maybe the income didn't quite get here really yet.
Well,
I know that-
no, when we first did this, we said those payments, that yearly payment be divided by 12.
Right,
And that money started be putting in a special account. And that started before the water tower was done. So we should not be short if it was
Right.
all care of that way.
We got
correct.
$40,823 right now.
And we need how much total?
69,561.
I'd say we're real short.
We'll have another 10 this month, so that'll put it up to 50. So we're looking at.
We should be
about
good.
20,000.
And then we've got.
We should be good because you got 2 more months
Contractor.
before July.
If people pay their water bill.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we're still, what'd you say, Doug, that we're about even right now on late notices? or normal on late
It's
notices?
about normal. So I think that'll pan out, but it has been a month into this coronavirus, so we don't know. We'll see. We'll see by the end of the week.
Another thing, there's a company that's did some water injections out at Buffalo Mesa, and they haven't got their bill yet. So there's another 5,000 or so right there just from that one customer.
Okay. Yeah, if we're putting 10 a month and we're at 40 something, we're going to be pretty close, I think.
Well, we
Right.
got 10 coming in now and then 2 more months, like you said,
Yeah.
Wes, so
Yeah, we should be pretty close.
should be right on it.
We're pinching them. Just
Yeah.
want y'all aware of it.
Okay. Corey, I had a couple of suggestions on the report that you gave us for the work orders and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It would be useful. It has on it. Hang on, I got to get to it. Completed work orders. It would be useful to have a couple of more numbers to go with that. Hang on.
You talking about a worksheet?
Yeah. How many
Okay.
work orders were opened? How many work orders were closed? And how the work orders that are pending? And like, is it for parts? Is it waiting on weather? Waiting on material? That kind of thing.
Oh, I got you.
Because
Yeah, I actually usually have that report,
Mhm.
the one you're asking about, but there's a report criteria page
yeah,
that shows all the 27 work orders, what they were. But I
right.
have another one that shows open and closed as well.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need to know. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't need to know the details of each one that you've opened and each one you've closed. I'm more worried about the ones that are carryover.
Ending.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know,
Yeah, I got you.
if you've got one open from May of last year, it would kind of be nice to know that. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
That ain't a problem.
Because that's the one we'll get asked about.
Any more questions?
Yeah, she actually gives me that report, so that ain't a problem at all.
Okay.
Okay. Anything from engineering or grants also?
They did get Mill Street. Still have to do the street, obviously. The sewer is running in new main. They're currently working on the explanation part of the so do a good job on that.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
You got to get closer to the building.
Yeah, that's everywhere. Can you hear me?
No.
You're like breaking up.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Go get that. How much? Oh,
Oh, he's gone.
he's gone.
His bandwidth was too low.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure he gave you his report, so.
Yeah, we
I'll
got
have to
it.
look him over, right?
Yeah.
If y'all have any questions for me to ask him, just let me know. I
Okay.
think he's back in.
He's coming.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Well, as long as you can hear me, I guess that's the main thing. What I was saying is sewer project is the sewer part of it is done. They still got to do the road work on that. And they're currently working on the chlorination system at the water yard. They're doing a good job. They're very fast. So it'll be done before we know it. As far as grants go, far as engineering, we're still waiting on data and to hear back from TW DB. So till we hear something from them, that's pretty much.
Excellent. Is that all you got, Corey?
Mhm.
Is that all you have, Corey? Any
Yes, sir.
questions for Corey?
Let's hope so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I think he's,
think he's about run out.
yeah, he's freezing again.
Well, hey, thanks, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Well, you have another one a little bit later and then I'll let you go. All right, we'll move on to economic development.
Susie sent a couple of letters in, currently working on the budget. We're going to have to do a workshop. We have scheduled a special meeting for tomorrow to follow up on a couple things that are on the agenda. I have given the Economic Development Board a little bit of homework in response to a presentation that we got from Tony last week about what does the city need? What are we looking for? So I've asked the board of directors to kind of give that some thought, and we'll probably touch base on that again next month. About right now, they're building some houses and some some rental properties, but they're looking to do further investment, retail space, warehouse space, that kind of thing. So what do we want them to, what do we think we need first of all? From a financial standpoint, we haven't had any bills really. We have roughly about $33,434 in the account right now. With the only outstanding bills that we have, we've been working on a website and we're getting the marketing company web hoster to handle some of that. So we have 2 bills out for that, which are about $300. And then the Economic Development Board has agreed to pay some of the some or all of the portion of the utility connections for the fourplex over on Mill Street. The signs are in the ground. We're waiting on, I think the Hooten boys are waiting on the lights to be put up. We need to go in and do some touch-up painting on a couple of spots, and we're going to wait until some of the coronavirus stuff is lifted and the Boy Scouts can come out and do a couple projects. We want to do some landscaping around. What we're talking about is putting down some heavy duty lawn landscape fabric and putting some gravel over it so that nobody's got to mow it, hopefully. Go out there a couple times a year and spray some Roundup on it to keep the weeds out. That's the kind of thing but we want the Boy Scouts to do that. So we're kind of waiting for the thing to be lifted. I have sent out emails on the trash compactor to restart the bids for that. We have a couple bids, but they're probably 2 years old now. So I thought we'd better start over again. John Smith from J&S Construction paid for our sound system. So he made a donation of $800 for that. So we got that paid for. And you will see later on in the agenda, the Economic Development Board has approved the resolution to have a loan program for our local businesses. We kind of changed up what was originally sent out from, instead of $5,000, we backed it off to $2,500. Didn't really change a whole lot other than the main thing to keep in mind when we get to that is it's for businesses inside the city.
Mhm.
So if it's somebody who's just outside the city, you're going to have to go to the state or the county or the federal government because the city's not in a position to help you. And that's it.
All right, any questions for EDC? Okay, court department. Kathy? We have
She's
anything
not
for court?
listening.
Oh. Municipal court paid to the court cost fund $1,068.06. And the municipal court paid to the general fund $3,982.61. Total of 16 violations for the month.
All right, anybody, any questions for the court? Okay, did y'all receive anything for special events?
Other than the budget, which was it in there, Kathy?
Budget's number 10.
I did
Okay.
not get anything, no.
The only thing that Jeremy wanted to talk about was talking about the fireworks for 4th of July. However, it is very unlikely. Doug and I were talking about this yesterday. It's very unlikely that we're going to be able to do anything before the end of the year. Depending on what Governor Abbott says on Friday, it's social distancing and limiting groups and all that kind of stuff is probably still going to be in effect for quite a while. So having any kind of gathering of more than 10 people is probably not going to be allowed. So that's really the only thing. We are going to have a cruise on June 13th, and we're still trying to get some of the details around. It's probably going to be more about people coming up into town, getting in their car and then going around the lake or something like that. We just got the date set. We don't really have any other details to go along with it yet. So, and that's all there is for special events.
All right. Any questions for him? No? All right, police department. I'm sure you got your reports, but there's a couple other things. On the 27th, let me make sure, hold on. On the 27th of this month, Joe will be having surgery on his back. He'll be down for 2 weeks. And then he'll have 2 weeks of light duty if needed.
He hopes.
He's also asking for his canine. Just about everything has been donated for the canine. He's just asking for if we could pay the insurance for the canine at $46 a month. We could put that on another meeting to approve that. And the last thing he wants from code enforcement, the house on FM 513 is about finished and with the cleanup, and a lot of people have mowed that have had letters sent out to them, have mowed their property. So that's police department and code compliance. All right. Nothing on planning and zoning. So we'll move on to old business. Number 9, consider an act on amending the zoning ordinance for setback regulations. Last week we approved the setback for one gentleman that had his in here, and it was 25 feet from the road or no closer to the road than the existing buildings, and 7 feet setbacks on the sides. And I believe it's 7 feet on the back. I'm not sure.
I don't know about the back.
I don't remember.
We told them 7 feet from the back as well.
Okay.
But we got a lot of building coming in. We need to make sure this is in the ordinance.
Now, is this for residential or commercial?
That's a good question. Kathy asked me that too. I was dealing with mainly residential right now.
Well, we need,
Commercial.
as much as what the way things are going, there needs to be a committee formed to look into that.
Okay.
And do residential and commercial and the types of buildings, so forth.
Wasn't the setback stuff in one of the ordinances?
No.
There's a zoning ordinance that has got that in it. But I'm not sure to what extent. It's been
Yeah,
too long since I read it.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Okay.
It's in that one that's started out nearly 100 pages. It's down to about 50 now. So, and within that, there's an ordinance.
There is something in there, but it's not specific to,
Yeah.
I think it said something about manufactured homes, but I don't believe it talked about regular residents.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
All I saw was it couldn't go more than 25 feet from, it's gotta be 25 feet or more from the road, but it can't go it has to be in line with all the other houses. It can't go any,
Okay,
closer. It's already there.
are you talking about from the road, from the middle of the road, or from the curb?
It didn't really state, that's the other part.
Yeah.
No, most places, most larger places is from the middle of the road.
I would think we would just do from the edge.
But you got to determine where's the edge, which side of the ditch is the edge on,
Right.
you know? Because most of ours are not normal.
Mm.
You don't have a sidewalk and a curb.
Yeah.
There needs to be a minimum, but if somebody's got a lot that's large, they wouldn't have to put it, they could put it 30 feet back or so. It wouldn't have to be. It depends on the subdivision or whatever that it's in.
Size of the lot.
Corner lots are also different too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot different.
We need to have a zoning meeting. We need to do those things that,
Well, your cul-de-sac lots are different too. Especially the one in the middle of the cul-de-sac.
There's a lot of building going on. So if we're gonna put a committee together, it's gotta be quick.
Appoint a committee of 3 of people that you know will show up and do something and get it done.
Chip, who was it with us? It was me and you, Chip, and who else?
You don't, the zoning board doesn't have to have everybody there to put something together and bring to the board. The
Right,
zoning
I
board
just-
can appoint a committee.
The
I didn't know
ordinance,
who else was with us.
Like-
Because we can just meet anytime. I mean, can't we, Doug, or do we have to wait till?
No, I could put, I'll pick 3 people and I'll call you and say, let's get this done.
Yeah. That's what we need to do. We need to do it.
Okay, well, I'm probably gonna do that this week. We gotta
Okay.
get this going.
Yes.
So, okay, then, no action. I'll take care of that. So no action on number 9. So we'll move to 10, discuss and possibly act on a special events budget.
Wasn't there already a budget?
No, I think they were supposed to be here last time and we didn't get anything.
I think it's around, what was it, 6,000 or something, Wes? That I mean, wasn't it a small thing
you-
like that? Because they were asking what per event, and it was like a couple of
You-
thousand.
You're gonna get me to line. I don't know. Hang
They
on.
broke it
No.
down because when we were
What-
doing
What
it,
they need to do is put it down in writing, bring it to Kathy. And
what they
let her-
need.
To the council. We don't need just, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. It needs to be done like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were waiting for.
Yeah, I thought we had it. Kathy asked if that's what it was the other day, and I didn't. I mean, we have it.
I thought it was 6,000.
I
But
think
It
it
needs to be
ended
in
up.
a budget form, just like everything else.
Yeah, I think it ended up being a little bit more, but it was a little bit more because. Here we go.
Because we were gonna buy,
We put a budget together for fireworks and all that kind of stuff. Hang on, I got it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking too at old
It's 8.
8.
Yeah.
We bumped it up a couple so that they could buy some one-time needed things that they could have, I think,
Yeah.
like PA systems and things like that,
Yeah.
so if they have an $8,000 budget, do we need to establish another one, or?
No, if you've got a
Um,
budget, it needs to be presented. It has to be presented along with our city budget and everything.
Yeah.
When we go, it all has to be done together. Because it is a part of the city. It's just a
The-
budget within the budget.
I can't spell for nothing. It says Wireworks.
Yeah. Same difference.
2,500. Where it kind of gets a little crazy is we budgeted $2,500 for fireworks. So I'll send this to Kathy again. One thing that Kathy, so you know, hang on. Too many people talking to me. Hey, the DJ, we've already paid a deposit to the DJ, and he's going to let us roll that over to the next year when we can start having events again. So I think we've already paid him for a couple of events. Yeah, we can put this together for the workshop we're going to have, or the meeting we're going to have for the budget.
Okay.
It's not anything overly crazy. Like I said, it's the $2,500 for the fireworks that we budgeted. The DJ, $400, $500 for bounce houses for the events that we're going to have bounce houses. When it gets to be fall and Christmas, if we have the light towers again, that kind of thing. And that's the expenses. What I don't have is a typical income for the rental of the spaces
Yeah.
Mhm.
for those events where we rent spaces out, where we have vendors.
Yeah, hasn't been very much.
It's not overly bad. I mean, hopefully it'll be better, but
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. I'll make sure Kathy has this for our special meeting we're going to have.
Okay. So
No action on that
no
one either.
action on this. All right, so item 11, discuss and possibly act on clarifying a service fee for new water customers. All right, Corey, you're back in.
All right, hopefully y'all can hear me this time.
You can.
What that is what my intentions was to make it for all new customers, not just new meters. There's a lot of expense, even just going out and turning on water, new boxes, new lids, finding the meter. I mean, there's a lot of expense in that. So more geared towards any new customer that comes in. They need to pay a service fee. Let's say Buffalo Mesa, they're getting new meters, but we're also lowering curb stops, putting in new boxes, lids, meter tails, all this kind of stuff. It's really more like $130 each time we do it. So it would kind of offset for the ones that we don't have to do so much to, you know, it would kind of balance out. The thing is go out there, we have to do all these things to a meter that's already there. We only have a $250 deposit, and we don't get any money at all until the first bill. The first bill is really paying for just the water. So we're not ever getting compensated for the parts. It's being
Well,
used.
we used to have to hear when you had a meter installed, you had a set fee that you had to pay for that. It didn't have anything to do with your deposit. It was a set fee that you had to pay.
That's right.
When you had a sewer tap put in, you had to pay for a sewer tap. You had to pay for a water meter deposit. You had, you know, and it had nothing to do with your deposit against your bill whatsoever.
Good deposit, not paying for parts.
Yeah,
And that's
no,
what
the
this
and then
service
that's
fee
the
needs to be.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to that it went away. But every time that you had a meter set, the original, like if I had a lot and something happened to the meter and I'd already paid for having a meter set, then I didn't have to pay for another meter set because you took up the one that's effective and put another. But for the first time you put that meter in, you had to pay a meter fee. You had to pay a fee to get your meter in. You had to pay a fee to get your sewer tap done. I don't know what happened to that, but I mean, one time at one time
it hasn't been there since I.
It cost $1,500 just to get your meter done at one time per lot.
Well, that's a water tap and a sewer tap fee, and that's still there. What he's talking about is if it's a new customer, the lot next to the senior citizens, there's probably a water tap there and a sewer tap. But where is it? What condition is it in, and all that kind of stuff. If somebody buys that lot, they're going to pay a $250 deposit, and that's it. And we're going to be spending, you know, Corey or Josh or Wayne or all three of them or somebody from outside is going to go over there, and they got to find the meter. They got to find the tap. Then they got to find, you know, put a meter in. And that's what he's talking about is putting some kind of a fee in there to cover that kind of thing. Cause there's already tap and
yeah, but
tap fee and all that. But this is where there's already a tap, but there hasn't been service there for a while.
Okay. Are we talking about says new water customers? That's if somebody moves out of a house and 3 days later somebody moves into this house, are they going to have to pay a new customer fee to find this meter and this tap and all this stuff?
No, because it'd probably already be there. Maybe it's for new construction.
I think that's because I think what Court, when he told me about this the other day, when we talked about this the other day, the intent is, yes, they would have to pay that $100 fee. And there's two reasons for that. Number one is they would probably be paying $100 for a new meter, but also for those instances.
What you're talking about then is a connection fee, $100 connection fee on top of your
deposit.
I
guess you could call it that.
What you talking about, Corey?
Yeah, you could call it
$100,
that. Yeah, you
$50.
could call it that. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand connection fee, but when you go to something about trying to find it and all this stuff, then if you don't have anything to find, you don't have to worry about it. But if it's a connection fee,
Okay, yeah,
Well,
that's
I
what,
applies
will
to
say it-
everybody that moves in, then I understand that.
So we'll call it a new connection fee because if it's a reconnection, that's already covered
Yeah,
somewhere else.
a new connection fee.
Yeah, I agree. And that would clarify what we tried to pass last week. I just had the wording wrong and everything.
I think where you're gonna have to get into it though, when somebody moves out, you're gonna have to go out and pull that meter. Because you're gonna have to go out there and physically, these people are gonna want to know if what you're charging them to connect if there's nothing you're connecting.
That's possible. That's possible there.
mhm.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, instead of just turn it off, you just pull the meter, and then when somebody moves in, you put the meter back in, charge them $100 for it.
And that'll keep from people coming in and turning it on and
Right,
trying to
themselves.
something, and we don't know who did it.
This is true.
Okay, so we just wanted to clarify, we had it as meters, but it's actually new connection, water connection customers is what we need to reword it
So
as.
it's a connection fee
depends on the way
for
you
new
work.
customers.
Gonna proceed.
Right.
Connection fee for new customers, and then you still have a service fee.
I didn't understand what you said.
Is that what you're replacing, that service fee? Instead of service fee, it'll be a connection fee.
New
Yeah.
connection fee. Yeah.
New connection fee, yeah.
So I make a motion that we reword the previous thing to be a $100 connection fee for new customers. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
That'll work.
I
That's
second it.
very clear. It's very plain.
Okay, so Wes made the motion, Sandra second.
Mhm.
All in favor?
All right.
Uh,
Y'all realize we've been here for about 20 minutes and haven't had a vote?
We finally got our vote.
These lonely people need to shut up.
All right.
Hey now.
So we'll move on to item 12, discuss and possibly act on amending a $250 water bill surcharge for businesses outside city limits.
All right. So we put this on the budget, on the agenda for last month. The idea is to help recover some of the lost money that the city has for businesses being outside the city, but for services that we're providing. And those businesses being outside the city, they're not paying property tax or sales tax and all that, where the general fund and the city, well, the city in general, recover some of the expenditure. I had some thoughts, and actually Doug called me about it too, and so did Corey. They were about to lose their mind over the amount of money that we're talking. $250 is way too much. If you look at the what a property tax would be on, and I'm going to use Chris Moore's business because it's up for sale, and as I understand it, it's like $200,000, $250,000 is what he's asking for.
300,000.
300,000 is what he's asking for it. Well, the city property tax part of that is not going to be $3,000. It's going to be more like $1,000.
Mhm.
So that $250 is way too much. It has been suggested that a more reasonable number would be $50. That is, probably not going to get us all of our money back, but it's probably going to get a good chunk of it. And it would be it's all going to be a moot point anyway, because within another year we're going to be at 1,000 population and we can annex anyway. Because the other thing is, a lot of these businesses, the only one that could be annexed and probably won't is the Pool Do Trailers. And he's the only one that has property that's adjacent to the city and could be annexed, I think, if we have the road over there by the school. That's the only one that's adjacent to the city limits and could be brought in. Chris is just, you know, there's a property between the city
Yeah.
and that property. So he couldn't request to be annexed anyway. So, so what do y'all think?
I think that sounds a whole lot better to me than what this, I had nightmares over that one.
I think $50 is right.
Yeah, it sounds a lot better to me.
Yeah,
It's a whole lot more user friendly.
yeah. And I was thinking that 250 was way too much a month. 250 a quarter might be more reasonable.
Well,
Yeah.
at $50 a month, a quarter is going to be 200 anyway. So it sounds
Yeah.
better at 50.
Yeah, $50. All right, so I'll make a motion that we change the surcharge for businesses outside the city limits to $50 a month.
I'll second it.
Okay. Got first by Wes, second by Christine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now the $64 question, Kathy, how long does it take for us to get something like that in place?
Probably
Is that-
need to post it for 30 days and then it takes effect after the publication of 30 days.
So you're
Is-
looking probably 2 or 3 months then, right?
Or do we still have, since it involves money, do we have to post it in the paper?
Yeah.
And it's going to cost a couple $100 post it in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be that much.
All right. So any more on 12? We'll move on to new business.
Yep.
Okay, item 13, discuss and possibly act on general fund, splitting the water and sewer tap fees with the Economic Development Corporation for the Mill Street 4-unit apartment complex at 302 Mill Street.
I have a question to ask. Why is anybody having to pay the developers fees? I've never heard of it. I mean, it's a good old boy, but still, he's a developer.
It's a little bit my fault. So I don't know if did John talk to you and Corey first before he called me, Doug, or did he call me first?
I believe he called you because he never talked to me about it.
Okay. Well, John Smith asked what it would cost if we could work out something, because he's putting it ends up being 6 taps. It's 5 water taps. It'll be 5 water accounts and then 2 sewer taps. There's already a sewer tap there and a water tap there. But one of the water taps is going to get changed, or sewer taps is going to get changed. So he was looking at 2 sewer taps and 4 water taps at, I think it's $1,500 a piece or something, $1,200 a piece. So he was wanting to know, could we do something better? And I said, well, it seemed to me that we could do something better because the water, one of those water accounts is going to be for irrigation. They have to have it. So that's probably never going to get used. So he'll pay a minimum fee, bill on that and probably never have any water flush through it. And then there's 4 water taps, 4 rentals. And then the property tax, that lot went from nothing to $600,000.
Well, West Pueblo Mesa did the same thing. If one builder builds 6 houses, it's the same deal that he's got. So what's the difference?
They're not paying water tap fees.
Well, somebody paid them down the road somewhere. They was paid when
I'm not sure about that.
Paid. Just when they, I mean, they had to build the street out there. Is he gonna rebuild Mill Street?
We haven't asked him to.
Well, his equipment, his trucks have tore it up. You can hardly get through there.
Is this what he was asking the last time we met, that if Corey and them could trench it, or, you know, he's got machines that he could use his machines if he could do it, and they could, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
instead of them having to use his
Yeah.
or rent equipment,
So-
they could use his equipment.
So basically what I had kind of told him is we would do it for the cost of the work. And I was expecting the cost to be like $2,500, $3,000. Well, the Corey actually did the cost and it comes up to be 62 something,
62,
65,
59, something like that.
something like that,
Jeez.
which is actually not that much less than if he had paid the $1,250 or $1,500, whatever it was. So he was a little bit shocked that it was that much money for what he was doing.
well,
But then,
how long,
we got.
how long has he been a developer? And
Oh, I
where
don't
has
know.
he developed before? Any place you go to develop, all of that, when you make your contract to borrow your money to build on, that's all figured in with.
Yeah. I'm sure he might be trying to, you know, take advantage of small town, just because, you know, we welcome him, and I mean, he'll do donations for this and that, and then he'll
Yeah,
want us to
okay,
Yeah.
barter.
He paid
Work.
$800 at the back of your eye for a sound system, but he wants to gripe about a tap fee? I don't think so.
Well, I just didn't know what the difference would be, because if we used, our guys went out there, and if that was still the deal that he was gonna do, use his equipment.
Our guys can't use his equipment, right, Doug?
Our guys cannot use
No,
it.
I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna,
Yeah.
he would do it. They would just be there to, you know, if he could trench it or do whatever, then they come in. He was just, we were willing to help, I mean, you know, do it, but I didn't know we were gonna pay for it.
But, you know, I
I just
look
think
at
he's
it like
nickel and
this.
diming us.
We're growing.
Yeah.
If this guy does this, then the word's gonna get around, well, the city paid for his. You know, why do I have to pay for mine?
Or y'all did it for him, why can't y'all do it for me?
Yeah, you know, it's the same situation.
Well, I, you know, a lot of cities do, you know, tax abatements and all kind of stuff like that for bringing businesses in. I want to bring businesses in and I want to help them and I want to give them an incentive to do so, but you know, I don't want to go broke doing it. So, I mean, what, can we help this guy? Or, I mean, you know,
Well, I mean,
whether he
actually-
or not, what I'm saying is, you
actually,
know,
there's a big difference in a business and a rental property. The city will never get anything off the rental property except the water bill.
well,
and
we
the
get, that's what I'm saying. we
That's
get
not
water
true.
bill.
If you
So
got
we
a,
get
if
tax-
you've got a business, then you get sales tax and all that stuff off the business.
The only difference between a retail business and the rental property is the sales tax, because we're going to get property tax on that lot,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and it's
We're
going
But-
to be taxed at $600,000 or something like that.
Well, and also the families that move in help our local businesses as well.
well, though,
Yeah.
there's a lot of us around here, this local business that take it to Greenville. I mean, we
Well,
don't
they
have any,
may, they
we don't
may,
have
but
any
I, you
local
know,
business here except the dollar
I mean, they
store.
may, I don't know what's in their heart. I'm just trying to look for what's good for us. I mean, if we
Well,
can, we can. You know, I'm not.
I'm looking
not
at
giving
what's
the-
good for the goose is good for the gander. And
I'm
if
not
it's,
trying
if
to
we're
say
gonna
give
do
the
it for
baby away
one,
with the
we expect
bathwater.
to have to do it for all.
Wes, what kind of money are we looking at? What is it that, what's the,
Well, what we've asked to do is split it with him. He's going to pay, and we're basing it on 6250 or whatever it is. So the EDC just asked because the EDC can help pay some of it, some or all of it, because it is an affordable housing unit. So what I told him is we would pay half of it, that the city would pay half of it. And the EDC said, since the board said, since the city will see direct revenue from it in the form of water bills and property tax, and the EDC will only see sales tax indirectly from those people that are going to be buying stuff locally. it would benefit the city more than it does the city more than the EDC, and they wanted to see if the city would split it.
The city split it with EDC or just split it with him?
Split it with the EDC. So we're talking 15.
So 15 something, 1,600
Yeah.
a piece.
Yeah.
Well, the way I took this was written, the EDC was wanting them to pay half of it and us to pay the other half and him not pay anything.
No.
That's what I got out of
So at best case scenario, we could split thirds, but that's not what I told them. I told them that we would pay half.
So if us and EDC pay, then that's 1562.50 a piece. If
the
pay
number
half of half with y'all.
62, if the number 62.50.
Yeah.
However, talking to Corey on Thursday, that number is probably going to be a little bit less because they're not going to have to do one of the sewer taps. There's another way to do that.
Now, is this 6,200 the total for the whole thing?
Yes.
So you've agreed, the EDC has agreed to pay half of that, which is
31 something.
Yeah.
31.25.
Yeah.
And so then you're asking the city to pay half of that, which would be a
Yes.
little $1,500.
Yes.
I don't mind doing that.
I can go along with that, but I can't go along with what I thought it was. Not at all.
No.
And
No,
I think in the future, the EDC needs to check with the city before they agree to the city to do something.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
Leslie.
we're having a special meeting tomorrow night, because if basically what the board said was, if the city didn't agree to pay it, then we would pay it all. So either
Well,
way,
I think we can pay half. I mean, I don't know about y'all, Bo and Chip or Christine, what y'all think, but
I'll make a motion that the city will pay $1,550 on the water and sewer taps for the Mill Street property.
I'll second it.
Okay, Christine made the motion, Sandra second, all in favor?
aye.
All right, so the motion passes.
If you need the money right on that, it's 1562.50.
And it could go down after.
But it could
I
go
think
down,
it's,
so-
I think it's going to go down.
Yeah,
Okay,
All right.
but that's the most that the city will pay. is
Okay.
50.
And I think what is going to happen is this money ends up going into the account to pay the two big bills. Right?
Well, I was going to say, this cost of that is the cost of the equipment to use it with and the people to put it in with, and we're paying for that anyway.
We're paying for that anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're going to basically get out of what he pays, we're going to get probably the cost of materials.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing the labor, is what it amounts to.
all right. We'll move on to item 14. Discuss and possibly act on EDC resolution number EDC 01-2020 to establish a loan program to aid local businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
I have a question to ask before we get into this. Wes,
Yes, ma'am.
if the water department gets in a bind with people not paying their water bills and we're having to have money to pay cash, can the water department borrow money from the EDC?
Can we
I
give them
don't
a loan?
know.
When we give them the loan, can we say you got to go pay your water bill?
Well, it's only for businesses,
Right.
Well, the public
but
works.
yes, the money can be used to pay operating expenses. Very similar to it's very similar to the payroll protection
Yeah.
deal.
So,
It's
I mean,
kinda
that was my thought when I got Doug's message this afternoon, and this was on here. If we have to borrow money in order to pay cash up, yeah, this money will come back to us eventually, but now we have to have the money, when it comes due.
You know, when we were when we were talking about this last week, we didn't think about the city having to borrow money.
Well, we didn't think about the city.
Hey, we're a
having some,
business. We're a business
Yeah.
in the city.
But when
We'll have to check on that one.
it would be better if the city could borrow, not the city, the Public Works Department could borrow the money from the EDC and then pay it back with the interest than it would be going to the bank and borrowing it for the PD, for the Public Works. That way the interest stays within the city.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd have to see if that's something that's doable. The only thing, if it's paying a bill like that, I don't know if that means that it's because like the payroll protection program, the idea of the loan is as long as it's payroll and operating expenses, the loan can be forgiven.
So they say.
So
Well,
if you borrow the money and you use it to make payroll and pay your rent and light bill and water bill, that loan can be forgiven, and there's some words in there, timelines and all that kind of
well,
stuff.
I mean, if they borrowed it, you would borrow it to pay payroll and take the money that you have for payroll and pay the bill.
Yeah.
Well, that would be the city having to apply for the
No, it
PVP
wouldn't be
loan.
it would not be the city. It would be the Public Works.
Well, Public Works, but
There's a
you
difference.
have 8 weeks to
city
do it, and it's
works.
75 to payroll and 25 to other, it's pretty detailed, but you'd have to spend it all in 8 weeks.
But that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we need to do, Doug, on this one?
Well, this is a resolution EDC 01-2020 to establish a loan program. Aid local.
I make a motion that we accept EDC resolution 2020 to establish a loan program to aid local businesses affected by the coronavirus 19 pandemic.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 15, discuss and possibly act on resolution number 249-2020, EDC financial assistance to business impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. So that would be the city's resolution for it.
Yeah.
And just so y'all know, what we did was we asked the attorney if this was even possible, and they sent us a city resolution, an EDC resolution, and then some sample loan applications and promissory note.
Okay.
So we're not the first ones to do this. They were actually for Clarksville.
Yeah.
So we think
I make the
we've
motion that
everything.
we accept the resolution 249-2020 EDC financial assistance to businesses impacted by the coronavirus 19 pandemic.
I'll
I
second.
second it again.
Okay, so Christine made the motion, Wes seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 16, discuss and act on appointing a municipal court judge for a 2-year term.
I make a motion we appoint Gordon Galloway as municipal court clerk for 2-year term.
The judge.
Judge, pardon me.
Okay, there's 2 other people that want their names in it. Justin Ram and Mary Hunt.
I make a motion that we appoint Gordon Galloway as the municipal court judge for a 2-year term.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
Well, I don't know much about Gordon, but I haven't been able to meet Justin. And I don't know anything about Mary.
Okay, so,
What do you want to do, Doug?
well, I guess y'all want to vote on it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is and seconded. All in favor of Gordon as judge?
Aye.
So is that for anybody against? Okay, one against. All right, so it's 4-1. Gordon's the judge.
This doesn't get us out of having a special meeting in next week, does it?
Still gonna have to have a special meeting.
Dang it.
All right. So we'll move on to item 17, discuss and act on appointing Mayor Pro Tem for the same 2-year term as the mayor's term.
I make a motion, we appoint Wes Owen as Mayor Pro Tem for a 2-year term.
I second it.
I think it's wrong. I think it's worded wrong because Wes will be up for election next year. So it's just for a 1-year term.
For a 1-year term.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay,
You're not
that's-
getting out of it.
So 1 year.
Yay.
So Christine made a motion. Sandra, you seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
You can't vote for yourself.
I can.
Oh,
Yeah,
Why not?
Okay,
You have to vote for yourself. Sometimes that's the only vote you get.
that's the only vote you get.
All right, item 18, discuss and possibly act on a sanitation solution solid waste rate increase agreement.
They just keep going up and up and up.
Well, we don't have to approve it. We have a contract that says they'll do it for a certain fee.
What's the reason? I mean,
The
it's
only
always something.
saving grace is that we don't have to rent roll-offs when we have special events. They always furnish them, so it's about as broad as this long.
I don't think it was a big increase in this time anyway.
It's not.
No, the only thing I was going to ask is,
It's 3.59.
yeah, do we have to raise the rates or can we absorb it?
We did, do you remember when we hadn't been doing that?
I know.
About us, I think we need to, I mean, it won't amount to much.
No.
Even if it's $1, it adds up.
The rates went up, we have to go up. I understand what you're saying, but it catches up with you sooner
Yeah.
or later. And then you're in a big bind. And we just got out of that big bind.
That's the only question I was going to ask is how does it affect? Can we
We can
wait?
absorb it now, but I think like Christine says, we need to near future address it again.
Yeah.
When is our
Okay.
contract up with them? Didn't we just do it? Not too.
No, I think it's several more years. I don't remember how long our contract is, but it's a while.
Yeah. We
Kathy,
just
you know how
did it.
long that is, the contract?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll get that information for you.
Yeah,
But I-
well, I just didn't know
Yeah.
if we could, because I know it wasn't that long ago, but we talked to them about it and they come in and talked to us, but if it was soon, then we could ask if we could wait until we considered the increase with our, when renewing the contract or whatever.
Well, what's happening is the landfills are filling up and there's not as many landfills or they're further away and it's costing more. And I understand now that Malloy's don't even take individuals dumping out there anymore. And so, anyway, I'll make a motion that we do the rate increase for sanitation solutions.
I'll second.
Okay, Christine made the motion. Wes second to agree to the rate increase. All in favor?
I thought it was in their calculation stuff, how long their contract is, but it's not in there. That I
I'd
can
like
see.
to, I couldn't
No.
find it. It's not a big deal. I was just wondering.
All right. So
Hope
we'll
they
move
come by
to-
soon, because I got something to talk to them about.
Yeah. Well, or maybe when we renew the contract, lock that increase, you know, to where, or
Well,
lock it into where they can't do the increase for a certain amount of time. Or
At one time, I checked with Gaston, and they were quite a bit cheaper than Sanitation Solution. But then when it come time for a new contract, they had gone up and they was more expensive than Sanitation Solution was. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to 19. Discuss and possibly act on a house moving permit at 203 Eder Street.
I asked Kathy a question the other day. We all got a picture of this house.
It's a mobile home.
It's a mobile home. And this man tries to get around everything in the world. I know his lot's just down the street from me here. And and he sent pictures of it, you know, the inside of it. It's a mobile home.
They didn't even pick up anything off the floors.
I know. And he's
Well,
calling it a house. Well, it's not a house.
Is
No,
this the man that came in on the oxygen with the ladies? This one that came into our courts asking about something, and we told them they had to get, because it was an older,
It was an
Why-
older mobile home is what it was.
and they had to get from Clayton that it was because they had done upgrades. Is this the same people
No.
or is this different?
No, those people went out and bought a new mobile home and moved it in up there.
Okay, I
This-
just never
this-
heard.
Well, this man, I don't know, I never was able to find out. He moved in one of those large Connex boxes down there,
Mhm.
last month, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And then he was down there, he had carpenters down there, and they went in and put doors in it for the outside, and they've got a blue tarp over it now. It looks like they're making that in something to live in.
Well, they had,
And-
do they have to get a permit for that? I mean,
I don't know whether they got a permit or not. I never did find out.
Well, they'd probably fall under a tiny home, and didn't we talk about 950 square feet or something like that?
Mhm.
well,
Yeah, whatever he's asking for, it's a mobile home. It's not a house.
yeah, this is not a
No.
house.
Well, he told a person that my grandson know that he was fixing to put a brand new big house down there. And I thought, then when we got that, I thought, okay, that's not a brand new big house.
No,
But-
because he even put, you know, it's 1 story built in 2014. You know, he
But
made it
I'm-
sound as if it was a home.
He needs to bring proof of what it is, how old it is, the whole 9 yards, just like everybody else has to.
Yeah, because it'll have a year on it, and it's a mobile home.
Y'all not see the paperwork that was turned in the email? It's a 2014.
Do what?
2014. It's in the email. All the information y'all need.
Well, it's here. It says built in 2014, but is that proof from what he turned into us that we wrote, or is that what he said?
Well, if the manufacturer is on it, it says 2014. It should probably be a 2014.
This was off the Collin County CAD. That was built in 2014.
Okay.
Well,
And
it's not a,
He's okay then, right?
That's
He's
within,
within, he's within the limits.
Yeah, if he's under 7 years, he's fine then.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
to approve it.
I'll put a motion, let him move the house in if it's under our statute.
That's what I was gonna
I'd
say.
like to say one other thing. Before we give him the permit to move it in, I think we need to know where he's going to put it on the lot in
Yeah.
conjunction with what he's already got on the lot. Because that's going to make a big difference of whether it's right up against this Connex box or not.
and what
Well,
that is that he's
That's
building.
under our zoning though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, we'll still have to go out there and inspect it anyways, won't we?
Yeah.
So that's
You
when
need
we
to-
can put our eyes on everything.
you need to inspect it before you let him move it in. Need to inspect where it's going before you let him move it in.
I'll give you a location of where it's going to.
Because once it gets it in, you're done.
Yeah, you
Well, if, again, I don't know how they want to do it with the inspections, but if he puts it in the wrong spot and the inspector says it's in the wrong spot, he's got to move it.
Right. Or they can be there when they're moving it in. I don't know how that works on, but I just didn't know if it was any different, a home permit versus a mobile home. You know, it's the wording, it's kind of tricky. I just didn't want it to slip under it as it being called a home when it's a mobile home.
Well, I mean, what he turned in, it had nothing that would indicate it was a mobile home except when you saw the picture.
Right. Is there a difference, Doug, in that? I don't, or
I mean,
Kathy, I don't know
I'm
if you
not-
know.
Well,
I'm
it
not
has to have,
complaining that
I
it's a
have to have a
mobile.
HUD tag
I
on it.
just want the guy to
once a
do
year.
what's right.
Right.
You'll have to, I don't think we got a picture of that, but it has to be on the home itself. He'll have to take a picture of that tag.
Yeah.
But we can get that before we allow them to come in.
Well, if we can get that, I mean, I'll second the motion that Bo made, but with the exception of knowing what it is and where they're putting it.
Okay, so you want to know the layout of the building on the property setbacks? You want to know the definite age, and you want to see a HUD tag?
Correct.
And we need to know how close it is to the building that's already on the property.
On what that, if that's going to be a residing structure, are they doing it as a
Like
tiny home?
residence, or is
Because
it
if
gonna
they're
put a
doing
pool in
construction
that's-
on it,
that's
they need a
pool house?
permit.
Okay,
Okay, so I do have a motion from Bo, a second from Sandra.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the motion passes. All right, so we're at item 20, agenda request from city council. Council members may request items to be placed on a future agenda or request a special meeting. However, no discussions or actions may be taken. So we're gonna, we need to set up a budget meeting. So we'll need a date for that from you guys. That's good for y'all.
I'll be tied up the rest of this week, but I'm good for any time after that.
How are you planning on having the meeting, Doug?
After the
Well,
15th.
no, I'm glad you asked that, Christine. I was wanting to use the Civic Center,
Okay,
and we'll use a proper social distancing in there, so we got plenty of tables to do all that.
yeah,
And I think it'd be a lot easier to work with a budget.
that was my thoughts exactly.
And at the same time, we can look at once Governor Abbott comes out with his updated guidelines this week, we may
Yeah.
be able to do our meetings over there, but I don't think we could do them here.
No, it's not enough room
So I
there.
was thinking maybe we can start doing our meetings over there.
That would be a
Normally,
way that
Sandra
we could.
crowds me out of my spot anyway, so.
We
I'll
can
spread out.
we can have it set up where we have our distances and people can still come and have their distances.
That's correct.
Open it back up.
I can send out an email with 3 or 4 dates to see if that works for all of y'all.
Okay.
For the budget.
Yeah. My social calendar's so full. I don't know whether it'll work or not, Kathy.
All right. Okay, is there anything else needs to be on the agenda?
Are we still pushing on this Hickory Road out here?
No, this coming Monday, myself, Corey, and myself and Corey, we're going out to ask for to the school board to ask for an easement on the other side of that fence to try to build a road up to Hickory Street from the 1567.
We've already got an easement. The road's there.
Well,
Well, the supposed road's there, but there's no road there.
Well, it used to be, and a road bed's still there. You look down at that road bed's right there.
Yeah, I looked down at 2 days ago.
And mean,
It's
it's
the
there.
way, it's the way it goes up to connect to 1567, I think is what Corey's concerned with.
Well, there's also that guy's properties like split right in the, right
Mm-hmm.
there, because part of his properties on the other, would be on the other side of the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're asking the school if they would give us an easement of 25 feet wide all the way from 1567 to Hickory Street.
Well, what,
Okay.
And that would help you, Bo, with the trash trucks coming around your house as well.
well, they tear down my wall, they're gonna help with it anyway,
Well, they are gonna, yes,
one way or another.
yes. All right.
Oh, yeah, and nothing with that, but Wes, what's going on with the veterans wall or bricks or something that,
The
sorry,
the young man that started it, he's kind of lost interest. Susie Bishop and Chris Bouchard are riding him like a mare mule to get him to either re-engage and get it going again, or give the money back, or
Well,
find another kid. And they
That's
found
wasn't he-
another
My
kid.
concern has been is where has the money gone?
It's in
wasn't
an
he
account
doing it
that the
for,
Boy Scouts.
it was for his Eagle Scout, right?
Yes.
So then contact his director who's over him and, you know, instead of going through him.
Well, that's Susie and Chris Bouchard.
All right, well, I just
They're
didn't
the
want to,
scout leaders.
I didn't want to get that lost because we have several that I want to donate and put on there and I still don't have the information.
Yeah.
Well,
The
I'm in the same situation. I've got some I want to do, but I'm not gonna do it until I know it's gonna be done.
the city, not the city. Susie told me last week that they have identified another kid that's like the next Eagle Scout. We had the young man come to the EDC
Mhm.
meeting and kind of give us an update on where he was doing and what the plan was. And apparently his scout leader has, I don't know if you retire from being a scout
Hmm.
leader or whatever, but he was about to move away, and they wanted him to be the one to present the Eagle Scout
Yeah.
award to him.
Well, we need to end this because
Okay.
this isn't part of the,
Well, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
I just, well, that was part of, I was just wondering. So, all
okay.
right.
So we're nothing else on the agenda, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
all right.
I'll second it.
Okay, Wes made a motion, Christine made a second for meeting adjourned. All in favor?
All in favor?
Okay, so meeting adjourned.
Good night.
So you're still sitting by me at the Civic Center. I'm still going to spread all my stuff out towards you.
All the social distancing stuff, I don't care about.
Give us
Mm-mm.
12
I'll
feet.
bring a mask. I miss seeing y'all.